The Giants still listed as a team that could make a big move before the season starts. Let's talk about it right now on Locked On Giants.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Stiles. Welcome to Locked On Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. On the show, we provide daily episodes Monday through Friday, talking about the San Francisco Giants in a way that combines passion, analytics with the eye test, and a little bit of fun. I'm from the Bay, but I live in Sacramento now, and I host a show at Sacktown Sports 1140, as well as emceeing Sacramento Rivercast games. All in all, I'm lucky enough to cover a team I've been a fan of all my life. Today, we are discussing Mark Feinsand and why he has the Giants listed as one of the 8 teams that could still make a big move before the season starts. The Giants are getting sued. Yeah, we'll talk about what in the world is going on there. And last but not least, some more Giants news and the fact that they are still in on Brendan Donovan. Is something going on there, or is it just talk to talk? All right, let's get right on into it. As I mentioned, Mark Feinsand, and I do like, all these different articles that come out. I do like when we get to talk about different guys writing them. Some of the same names do come up. I understand that, and I know you want that information, but it could become a bit redundant. I understand that. So Mark Feinsand isn't a guy that we hear from a ton. Obviously, we hear from him a good bit, but specifically with the Giants. So I wanted to make sure I got this information out to you. So he has 8 teams that could have some big moves up their sleeves, okay? Or I should say still have some big moves up their sleeves. He says, the past 2 weeks, we saw a flurry of moves around baseball. The Dodgers get Kyle Tucker. The Yankees re-signed Cody Bellinger. The Mets deal for Freddie Peralta and signed Bo Bichette. The Red Sox signed Ranger Suarez. The Rangers traded for Mackenzie Gore. And the Giants added Harrison Bader. Well, it was nice of him to include the Giants in that conversation with some of the bigger moves that were made. So now he has a list of teams that could still do some things, okay? And of course, we are hoping that the Giants would still be on this list, and they are. All right, let's start here. He has the Athletics. That's a bit surprising. So he says the Athletics have had a relatively quiet offseason. It talks about Jeff McNeil and others. So he starts with the A's. Next, he has the Braves. The Braves have had a busy offseason. Robert Suarez, Mike Yastrzemski, and Ha-Sung Kim as well. And then he gets to the Brewers. The Brewers made their anticipated trade of Freddie Peralta, and now they could look to maybe do something else. A reunion with Jose Quintana is always a possibility, things like that. Next on the list, he has your San Francisco Giants. The Giants added Tyler Mahle and Adrian Hauser to its rotation this winter, then brought in Harrison Bader to fill its outfield vacancy. But the feeling among rival executives is that Buster Posey has one more trick up his sleeve. Quote, I could see the Giants surprising people and making a big move, an NL exec said. 3/4 of the infield is set with Rafi Devers, Willie Adames, and Matt Chapman, but second base remains a need, one that could be filled by a trade for either Brendan Donovan or Nico Horner. The Giants would benefit from the addition of more pitching as well, either in the rotation or bullpen, ideally both. Let's just talk about some of the other names he has because they could be in competition with the Giants for certain names. And next on that list, the Mariners, who also have been in conversations about Brendan Donovan. He's got the Orioles as well. A lot of people have been talking about the Orioles. They get, Pete Alonso. So that was their big move, but maybe they have something else that they're willing to do. Next, he has the Phillies and the Red Sox, and those 2 teams are always trying to do something and spend a ton of money. So when it comes to the Giants, what's interesting here is it feels like there's been another shift. At one point, the conversation was, we don't feel like the Giants are going to do anything. That feels like that was just, 2 weeks ago. We were listening to MLB Network. Oh, it feels like the Giants believe that they made their move. 18 months ago when they signed Willie Adames and extended Matt Chapman and then trading for Rafi Devers. So maybe they already feel like they made their moves. Now, all of a sudden, rival execs are saying they think that the Giants might have one more trick up their sleeve. I do wonder what changed there. I do wonder wonder if something got out. Maybe it's the CJ Abrams conversation and how close that got, and people saying, oh, I did not think the Giants were going to be willing to give up those type of assets for a farm system that they're trying to grow. Maybe it's the Brendan Donovan and Nico Horner conversation. Something has shifted in the market, which is good if you are a Giants fan, because it feels like the Giants are headed towards doing something. With that being said, I don't see a world where the Giants get a second baseman, more relief pitching, and also a starting pitcher. I don't necessarily see that. So even though that conversation may come up, I don't necessarily know that I believe that they'll be able to lock in all of those. I did have this for you though, and this is just, again, another thing that comes up and nobody necessarily knows what to do with it. And this is something that I think a lot of people will be happy about. Somewhat out of nowhere, Hector Gomez says this yesterday: the Giants intensified talks to land Framber Valdez on a multi-year deal. Orioles and Mets showing a lot of interest in him. So Hector Gomez, he is an MLB insider. He's got over 100,000 followers on Twitter, social media. So this is a legit source, if you will, not maybe a name that we hear about a ton, but this is a guy that clearly knows what he's talking about. He also has something on Hector Borg being promoted to an MLB coach. So he has had information before we even, ask the question, well, Alan, who's this, who's that? So of course that gets aggregated and that's everywhere. I don't necessarily know what to do with it, but at least the Giants are in that conversation and their name is being brought up. A multi-year deal, that sounds very player opt-out-y to me. That sounds very 3 years and a player opt-out after each season, which could burn the Giants, but I think the Giants want to see how far they can get this season and then go from there. And an opt-out doesn't always mean that the team isn't going to go back to that team. Now, the Giants could get priced out if Framber Valdez has a good season. That's why player opt-outs always put the team in a tough spot. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it would be all over after one season. You turn yourself into a weird type of fan because you don't want the player to do too well, because then he would price himself out. But obviously, you do want them to do well because you want the team to do well in that season. I think what it turns into is if the season goes south, then the hope is, hey, Framber, you don't have a crazy season, so your market isn't that good, and you come back, and hopefully we get another run at it. But if the season's going well, you don't want Framber going out there with the NL West on the line. You're not going to be thinking about his player opt-out at the end of the season. You just want to win the baseball game. So that came out. I didn't really know what to make of it, because the one thing that I will say that was, I don't want to say peculiar about it, is I just don't feel as comfortable when a report doesn't get copied anywhere, right? Or report doesn't necessarily get confirmed anywhere. Andrew Baggerly, who's been all over this as far as everything the Giants have been doing, even as Susan Slusser, for them to not really have anything on this, I don't know. I don't know about that, or to have any type of confirmation, if you will. And that's no disrespect to Hector Gomez. It's just, that's when I feel the most comfortable, when I see it from multiple sources. That's what it is. And I'm double checking Susan's Twitter as well. And yeah, she is not saying anything, or has not said anything about the conversations intensifying on a multi-year deal. So I don't know. I know X and Twitter is weird these days, so that's why I didn't, kind of make any huge proclamations. But again, I want to give Hector Gomez his just due as a journalist, and maybe we'll get more information as the day goes by and as the weekend kind of rolls in, maybe a Friday news dump, something like that. Maybe he just got it first. We'll see. But yeah, I didn't get any confirmation anywhere else. So, and I made some texts as well. Not to say that it's not true, but yeah, I just like when I hear it from multiple places. Speaking of hearing things from multiple places, there are multiple fans not happy with the Giants. They're getting sued. You're not going to want to miss this article from Front Office Sports, as the Giants have some things that they're going to have to take care of when it comes to ticket sales. More Locked On Giants coming up. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives a real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thank you for making Locked On Giants your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Giants with no interruptions. Members-only Discord access and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to LockedOnSFGiants.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. If you're a true diehard Giants fan, the Everydayer All-Access tier is built for you. You'll get one-on-one text access with me, all-access episodes, and exclusive newsletter, and a 15% discount to the Locked On merch store. Head to LockedOnSFGiants.supercast.com to join the Everydayer Club and unlock all access. You can also find the link in the show notes. So again, to keep the theme going of random Giants news that tends to pop up, last week we had the Jung-Hoo Lee stuff at LAX with his kind of small issue that he had trying to get back into the country. And now we have the Giants getting sued. But first, before we talk about the Giants getting sued, I did want to say this. Okay, as the Giants out here trying to make moves, the Giants signed Eric Haas, okay, to a minor league deal. The San Francisco Giants have signed Eric Haas to a minor league contract. The catcher has 142 home runs along with 452 RBIs throughout his minor league career. So just wanted to let you know that your Gigantes are still making moves. Okay, now I don't know if this is what Mark Feinsand was talking about, but that is a move that the Giants made. All right, I'm just having some fun here before we get in to this article that I have for you. This is from Front Office Sports. And if you're not familiar with Front Office Sports, they're outstanding at what they do. They get all these type of stories out there, media types of stories out there. They're good for these types of conversations. And this is what they had to say. The Giants become the third MLB team sued over junk fees since September. This is from Ben Horny. Okay, the Giants are accused of charging hidden junk fees that illegally inflated ticket costs and weren't disclosed until checkout, marking the third MLB team sued over similar allegations in the past 5 months. The proposed class action filed in California federal court alleges that the Giants systematically cheated fans out of millions of dollars over the course of many years through false advertising of ticket prices. It claims the class includes hundreds of thousands of consumers who were deceived into spending more than advertised tickets. Are you kidding me? Although the team stopped charging these fees by July 2024 after the passing of a California state law prohibiting them, they have not refunded fans the millions of dollars in junk fees that those fans have been charged, the suit says. The named plaintiff in the case, Juan Flores, bought 2 tickets for a game between the Giants and Padres in March 2024 that were advertised at costing $10 apiece. Once he got to the checkout page, additional convenience and processing fees were added, the suit says, upping the total price to $29, a 45% increase over what was advertised. The pressure on him to complete the purchase was amped up by a countdown clock that appeared on the webpage that gave him limited time to review all information, input his payment information, and read and agree to terms and conditions. I feel seen by Juan Flores. I feel seen every time you're trying to buy this stuff. It's not just the Giants, all of it. You got the countdown clock. You got to read this. You got to read that. Okay, let's get back to it. Had he known about the fees before the countdown clock page, Flores would not have purchased the specific tickets he purchased and instead would have attempted to buy tickets for different seats or from another seller at a lower total price. The suit does not include a specific amount in damages being sought, though it demands the Giants pay back the unlawfully charged junk fees. The Giants are the third MLB team hit with a similar suit since September. Each case alleges violations of state laws and features different attorneys. On January 16th, the Red Sox were sued in Massachusetts federal court over false advertising that has allegedly cost ticket purchasers millions of dollars in total. That suit, a proposed class action that also names Fenway Sports Group as a defendant, notes that the Red Sox typically charge a $7 order fee. It does not cost the Red Sox $7 to process each electronic ticket order. The Red Sox are accused of imposing these fees through at least the end of 2024. A representative for the Red Sox tells Front Office Sports, while we don't comment on pending litigation, we have always complied with applicable state and federal laws. The Nationals are also fighting a proposed class action filed in September in Washington, D.C. federal court by a woman who claims the team charged junk fees for years. That suit says the team cheated customers out of millions of dollars. Sports is not the only area where junk fees have caused customers headaches. They go on to talk about Taylor Swift's tour as well, and the Biden-era Department of Justice to probe Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation. In December 2024, the Federal Trade Commission announced a final junk fees rule prohibiting such tactics in the live event ticketing and hotel industries. I remember all that. The lawsuit, which alleged violations of consumer protection laws already on the books, are a start, but enforcement is the real issue, says the chief of policy and advocacy at the Groundwork Collaborative, a DC-based economic think tank. All right. Last but not least, representatives for the Giants and Nationals did not immediately respond to requests for comments. Okay, so apparently they say immediately. So apparently the Giants did get back, or the Giants or Nationals did get back, but we don't have any quotes from them. Okay. No clue what to do with that. Obviously, when these class action suits come up, I don't know if we're all going to get tickets or get a random check for $7 or I guess 45%, right? So about $20, something like that. I'll take it, right? I went to a couple games last season. Well, that was 2025. I went to a couple games before that. I'll take it. I'm waiting for my check, Giants. Okay, especially because you're not doing anything anyway. Give me my money back if that's the case. So that's ridiculous. I don't know if other teams are going to be a part of this or it's going to pop up, but it's not great. I don't know that it's a huge deal or not. I guess it depends on who you ask, but it's not great, right? Hey, Giants, I know you just got the Harrison Bader trade done, but can you just stay in the news for baseball-specific things? Can we try that? Can we just be in the news and have Jeff Passan say you just signed Framber Valdez? I don't want to see notes about you from Front Office Sports. That means it ain't about something on the field. That's not what we need right now. We're trying to talk about stuff on the field. We're trying to get you to improve on the field, okay? But pay the money. If you go down, then pay the money, because these junk fees, they're getting ridiculous, man. They're getting ridiculous. You think you're buying a $5 ticket in the bleachers. By the way, bleacher prices at Oracle Park, not what they used to be. They're actually not the cheapest prices at all anymore. It's just going to the straight up nosebleeds. The bleacher tickets aren't what they used to be, but you think you finally found a $7 bleacher ticket, and then you end up paying $35. You don't know how that happened. That's money that could go towards my savings account that I'm going to need when I get to Oracle Park to purchase something. So come on, Giants. Be better. We'll see what happens there. One more segment with you. Apparently, the Giants are still in on Brendan Donovan, but honestly, I got something to say about all these reports that continue to come out and whether or not the Giants are just pulling our chain. More Locked On Giants coming up. Last segment with you, and this one is from Andrew Baggerly. This was just a note that he kind of mentioned as he posted an article doing a bit of a deeper dive on the Giants signing Harrison Bader and how that all came to fruition. But I did think that it was put in there for a reason, okay? So this is what he says. The Giants and Bader's representatives have been in touch most of the winter, but talks picked up in recent days as the Giants pivoted from a frustrating trade market. They came up short while taking a chance on Washington Nationals infielder C.J. Abrams, but remain engaged with the Cardinals on Brendan Donovan, whose left-handed contact skills could balance out the lineup as an everyday second baseman who yields occasional starts to Casey Schmidt against left-handed pitching. So, couple things there. The first thing I will say is that it seems like the C.J. Abrams thing is over. And I had some people commenting. And by the way, let me know in the comments about that, the suing, if you have been a part of these processing fees. Are we going to get paid or not? But I saw some people commenting about the C.J. Abrams botched trade, saying that the Giants got denied versus that they came up short, whatever it was. You know, I think it's semantics, and I think it's however you want to look at it, right? If the Giants said this is all we can realistically do, and the Nationals said that's not enough, I don't know that the Giants came up short there. The Giants made a decision, right? The Giants could have said, okay, well, here's Bryce Eldridge, and that would have got it done. So it's not as if they came up short in the same way. I think people were trying to put it in the same conversation of the Giants offered C.J. Abrams as a free agent $150 million, and another team offered $160. That's coming up short. Having a limit on the assets that you're willing to give up for a player, to me, that's not coming up short. And y'all know I'll go hard on the Giants when I need to go hard on the Giants. But to me, that's not coming up short. That's the Nationals saying no, yes, and the Giants saying, okay, well, that's our final offer, right? If they came back and said, well, here's two more prospects, and the Giants got it done, you could say the Giants didn't come up short, but then you could also say they got fleeced and it was an overpay. So I get it. Some people like to be a little bit more pessimistic when it comes to the Giants, and I find myself in that category too. But in this specific situation, I didn't look at it as the Giants coming up short. I looked at it as the Giants made a decision that was all they were willing to give. And maybe to you, that's coming up short, depending on how you look at it. But okay, as far as this Brendan Donovan stuff is concerned, I'm starting to get a little annoyed. All right. And I'll tell you why I'm starting to get a little annoyed, because it's turning into something to where I know Andrew Baggerly is getting this information, and I know that it's good information, right? I understand that. But it also feels like the Giants are making sure that the information is getting out there, that they are trying. You know, I'm trying to get something done. So then if nothing gets done, you can still say, well, the Giants, they tried hard and they just couldn't get it done. I don't like how much this stuff is getting talked about. Let's talk about the Freddie Peralta trade. Let's talk about some of the other trades that popped up throughout the offseason with the Marlins and obviously the Brewers. You didn't hear about it for weeks, right? What we did, and this is why people were joking me, what we did, it came out. The Giants were included along with other teams. By the time I did a show or another show, that player was traded already. So this Brendan Donovan thing hanging around like this, I don't love it. I don't like it at all. If it's between the Giants and the Mariners, I don't know if it's a bidding war, but I don't like how long this is taking. Free agents is one thing because you have the power, you have the control, you can wait this whole thing out. Trades is another. Right? A lot of times these teams are striking while the iron's hot and they just make a decision and find a way to get it done. I don't love how much this is hanging around. It's starting to smell a little bit. It's starting to reek a little bit of Giants wanting the fan base and everybody to know that they are trying to get something done. Maybe I'm wrong, but the Framber Valdez thing, to me, we're hoping for more confirmation there. That to me seems more legit than this Brendan Donovan thing, which might sound crazy, but I don't like how, and I've said this on the show before, when things hang around this long, they tend not to get done, right? The same way we joke about houses that go on Zillow. Okay, a lot of times a house that is on Zillow for a long time, there's a reason. When houses are hot and houses are in a hot market, by the time they hit Zillow, they're pending already. right? They don't spend a lot of time. So this Brendan Donovan thing is just the second, maybe even the third week now of it dragging on. What's actually going on, right? Instead of Baggerly getting information that just says that they're still engaged, what's the holdup? And maybe they don't want it to get out there. But think about the CJ Abrams situation. The Giants, we didn't hear anything about it prior to. Nowhere. No name had that anywhere that I saw, at least. Then on the other side of it, the Giants put in for a deal. The National said it's not enough, and it was over. So I don't know if I should maybe feel better about the Brendan Donovan thing or worse, but I don't know. A lot of times this stuff just kind of happens pretty quickly. It's not a matter of hanging around, and then it gets done. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. Okay. Thank you for listening to Locked On Giants. Thank you for listening to Locked On Giants. Be sure to follow me on social media at @_Styles File, Styles with an I. Couple logistical updates for you. All right. We are back to every day. All right. We had that month of, 3 days a week. That's over. That's over. So this is my last show this week, and then I will be back next week, and we will start rocking and rolling again, back to every single day as we hit February and get you going there. So you're not going to miss anything as the Giants hopefully make a move with pitchers and catchers basically about to report. That's what it feels like. Thank you for tuning in today. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Giants ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonsfgiants.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On MLB. We will talk to you next week. Until then, peace.